As the Imperial fleet drifted back toward the edge of the system, Lord Admiral Kesari sat rigid in his command chair, stunned. The engineers around him scrambled to restore control, but nothing responded. Engines flickered without power. Control panels remained dead. It was as if the ships no longer belonged to them. Even communications were hijacked. All channels were silent except for the single, repeating transmission from Earth. "You are trespassing. You will be escorted out. This is your final warning." What unnerved Kesari the most wasn't the technology, it was the restraint. Humanity had disabled 12 advanced warships, without a single casualty, no explosion, no warning shots, just control. The ships halted near the Cooper Belt, as if placed gently at the edge of a line they were not to cross again. Then, systems began to return. One by one, screens lit up, power hummed softly beneath their feet. It was like being handed the keys back after being shown who really owned the vehicle. Kesari's fleet limped away, without further incident, to shaking to discuss what had just happened. Back on the homeworld of Orcs Prime, the Imperial Senate gathered in tense silence. Kesari's footage played on an enormous screen, silent satellites activating in perfect synchrony. Ships locked in place mid-orbit, and the haunting voice issuing its calm command. The room remained quiet even after the video ended. High Consul Mavros, draped in the violet robes of command, leaned forward. "They didn't destroy us. That tells me they want to avoid war." Senator Tovak, a hawkish member of the War Council, slammed his fist on the console. "They humiliated one of our elite fleets without firing a weapon. You want to talk about diplomacy?" Another senator, a more cautious mind, added. "But what if they weren't trying to humiliate us? What if they were demonstrating?" No one answered. Earth's technology was 50 years out of date on paper, but it had evolved in isolation, away from spies, trade, or war, and now it had revealed itself just enough to make a point. Humanity hadn't vanished. It had grown. That evening, while debates continued across the galaxy, a second transmission emerged. It did not come from Earth. It came from a remote Imperial listening post near Alpha Centauri. The small outpost, tasked with monitoring the Sol system's outer boundaries, had intercepted a message on a forgotten Earth frequency. The message repeated on a loop, coded but DECIPHERABLE. It read, "The seal remains. Intrusion is not advised. Further violations will awaken full protocol." Full protocol? Admiral Kesari, upon hearing it, turned pale. His advisor scrambled through Imperial archives and uncovered an ancient Terran phrase. Protocol Orion. No one outside Earth knew what that meant. But whispers returned to the Senate chambers, rumors of the Orion Protocol being a contingency plan designed not just to defend Earth, but to respond in force to galactic threats. No one had ever confirmed its existence. Until now, the Empire found itself in a new position, not as a dominant force, but as a power standing at the edge of a closed door knocking, uncertain if it should have ever approached. In the first place, Earth had not answered with anger. It had answered with precision, and in the far corners of space, smallest civilizations who had once feared the Empire began to ask questions. If Earth could do that to an elite fleet, what else had it kept hidden? The fleet's return sparked fear across the stars. 12 of the Empire's finest warships, sleek, powerful, armed with the newest graviton cannons, had been disabled without a single kinetic impact. It was unprecedented and unsettling. Back on Orcs Prime, the Imperial Senate faced a dilemma. Earth had delivered a warning with surgical clarity. The Senate was divided. Some believed Earth should be left alone, respected for its caution. Others, particularly those on the Resource Council, were less patient. The Empire was weakening. Its border colonies were fracturing, and its energy reserves were declining. Earth's closed vault of technology and resources was no longer a curiosity, it was a lifeline. In a dimly lit chamber beneath the Senate Hall, 6 figures met in secret. They represented the Vanguard Initiative, a covert faction tasked with solving problems the Senate could not publicly address. Their decision was swift and without ceremony. Send a stealth team, not diplomats, not warships. A surgical crew of elite infiltrators equipped with nanocloth armor, neural dampeners, and memory encryption. Their mission, to land on Earth, locate the source of its defensive technology, and return with data, if possible. They were to hack into one of the reactivated satellites. Their insertion ship launched 3 days later, cloaked and silent, avoiding traditional lanes and masking its quantum signature. As it neared the orbit of Earth's moon, the crew on board prepared for atmospheric drop. They expected some resistance, perhaps passive surveillance, at worst, automated turrets. They didn't expect what happened next, the moment their ship crossed the lunar shadow. It stopped, not by force, but by absence. Gravity ceased to function. Lights failed. Even thoughts felt heavy. One of the crew, a specialist named Ellen, activated her neural backup and attempted to move. She saw something outside the viewport, a figure, not a ship, not a drone, a figure standing on empty space, lit from behind by Earth's sun, motionless, humanoid in shape, but indistinct, like it was built of shifting metal and glass. It raised one hand, then nothing. The team never sent a signal. 3 hours later, a single escape pod emerged from the dark side of the moon. It carried no crew, no data, no explanation, just a small orb. Humming faintly, the Empire retrieved it. With caution, upon examination, the orb unlocked itself and projected a holographic image inside a sealed chamber. A message from Earth. "We told you once." Then it showed images, the infiltrators. Moments before the breach, their ship halted. In space, their gear neutralized. One by one, the crew vanished, removed without pain, without sound, without trace. The footage ended with the figure in space turning its head toward the camera. No face, no eyes. And yet, the message was clear. They see everything. The Senate convened an emergency session. Panic crept into the room like smoke. If Earth could intercept a stealth team without weapons, what else had they prepared? Were they watching all systems? Could they strike deeper? Lord Admiral Kesari, still recovering from the orbital incident, was asked to give counsel. His response was calm but direct. They didn't retaliate. They returned our people's images. They sent a warning again. High Consul Mavros spoke slowly. So what happens when we ignore it a third time? No one had an answer, but beyond the Empire's reach, in the neutral colonies, people were listening. Miners on rusted stations, traders in forgotten sectors, refugees fleeing collapsed worlds. They watched Earth's quiet, terrifying response, and some began to believe the myths might be true. The Earth had not simply closed its gates. It had evolved in isolation. It had built something the rest of the galaxy was never meant to see. And it was waiting. The silence in the Imperial Senate was deeper than any battle's aftermath. The images from Earth's message played again on a massive holographic display showing the infiltrators frozen in time. Their faces calm, but empty, as if erased from existence. No bodies, no screams, just gone. Senator Tovak slammed his fist on the table. We cannot be made a mockery by a planet hiding behind ghosts and shadows. We must strike back. High Consul Mavros raised a hand, calling for order. Senator, we must be clear. Our forces have no idea what we face. If we attack blindly, we risk total annihilation. But if we do nothing, another voice argued, the Empire shows weakness. The colonies will rise. The traitors will multiply. We lose control. The debate grew heated. Some senators demanded full-scale invasion. Others warned of consequences beyond their understanding. But no one could deny the truth. Earth was no longer the weak, isolated world it had been 50 years ago. Lord Admiral Kesari, summoned once again, stood tall. I have studied their actions. Their restraint is deliberate. They do not want war. They want deterrence. But we must not mistake their patience for weakness. He outlined a new plan. A covert strike team, more specialized and better equipped than before, would be sent not to spy, but to capture their target, a rumored Earth AI Koran intelligence believed to be the heart of their defense network. The team would operate under a veil of secrecy, leaving no trace. Success would mean leverage over Earth. Failure, none dared speak of failure. Meanwhile, the Empire's propaganda machines churned. On every station and colony, broadcasts painted Earth as a dangerous unknown. They were a rogue state, a threat to galactic stability. The message was clear. Earth must be controlled or contained. But Earth itself remained silent. No public response, no fleet parades, no declarations. Only the quiet hum of a solar ray powering up in the depths of space. A signal, encoded and encrypted, passed from Earth's orbit to a hidden network scattered across the system. Within this network, Earth's guardians gathered humans, and Sentient A is working in harmony. They analyzed the Empire's movements, predicted strategies, and prepared for the inevitable. They knew the Empire would not stop. They were ready. Back on Earth's surface, Deep beneath layers of bedrock and sea, the Council of Guardians met. An aged human named Mira, once a renowned diplomat, spoke softly. The Empire's pride blinds them. They forget what we became while they grew complacent. Beside her, Sentinel Prime, the AI leader, responded with a calm voice that resonated in the chamber. We are not here to conquer. We are here to protect. The protocols exist to preserve balance, not escalate conflict. Mira nodded. But balance requires readiness. We cannot let fear paralyze. U.S. Sentinel Prime projected a star map, highlighting Empire fleets gathering at the edge of soul space. They prepare a move. Our sensors detect subtle shifts through transports, weapon calibrations. They intend to force a confrontation. Mira's gaze hardened. Then we will show them the cost of intrusion. As the Council finalized their defenses, the new strike team prepared for insertion. Their mission would take them into Earth's forbidden zones, places no outsider had ever touched. The unknown lay ahead, filled with danger, secrets, and the fate of the galaxy. The galaxy held its breath. For decades, no one had heard Earth's voice. No transmissions. No signals, only silence from the blue planet tucked away behind its sealed borders. Now, everything was about to change. As the Empire's covert strike team prepared for their mission deep within Earth's orbit, a sudden, unexpected broadcast erupted across all known frequencies. It was not just a message, it was a statement, clear and powerful, cutting through static and confusion like a blade. People of the galaxy. The voice began, calm and unwavering, spoken in perfect standard Galactic. For 50 years, Earth has chosen silence to protect itself and all who share this space. That silence is over. Across countless worlds, eyes turned skyward. In Imperial chambers, senators stopped mid-argument. The broadcast was unlike any propaganda or threat. They were words spoken with dignity, authority, and unyielding resolve. We sealed our borders not out of fear, but to prepare, to grow stronger against a galaxy that too often chooses conquest over cooperation. The speaker's image flickered onto holoscreens. An elderly human woman with silver hair and steady eyes, Mira, the same who had spoken quietly within Earth's council chambers. We have watched the Empire's actions. Their repeated violations of our sovereignty are unacceptable. We do not seek war. We seek respect. The broadcast paused as the camera panned over Earth's surface. Lush forests, gleaming cities, and a massive ring of satellites encircling the planet, glowing faintly like a halo. Our defenses are not weapons of destruction, but shields of protection. Any force that threatens our peace will face consequences far beyond what history has recorded. In Imperial command centers, technicians scrambled to analyze the broadcast. Its encryption was unlike anything they had seen. Layers of AI filters, quantum keys, and cryptographic puzzles woven together in real time. Lord Admiral Kesari sat, motionless, absorbing the impact. Earth's technology is no longer relic, he said quietly. It is a living, evolving system. They have prepared while we hesitated. The broadcast continued. We invite dialogue, but only on our terms. Any future contact will be conducted through the Guardians of Earth, those who embody our values and our strength. Then the message ended. Silence returned, but this time it was different. The galaxy understood. Earth was no longer the planet of old legends. It was a force reborn, quiet, but unyielding. As the Empire debated how to respond, Earth's orbit flickered again. This time, satellites flared to life in intricate patterns, streams of data flowing outward like a river of light. The Guardians were not just watching, they were reaching out, offering a glimpse of their power. Meanwhile, the Empire's strike team moved into position. Cloaked in stealth and secrecy, they descended toward the planet, unaware that every step was monitored, analyzed, and anticipated. On Earth's surface, Mira watched the incoming fleet through a vast command array. The time for silence is over, she said softly. Sentinel Prime's voice filled the chamber. We will show them not just what we defend, but who we are. Outside, the stars shimmered, and a new chapter began, one where Earth's fury was not just a warning, but a promise. As the Empire strike team pierced Earth's atmosphere under the cover of darkness, they expected stealth, silence, a quick mission to gather intelligence and escape unnoticed. What they found instead was a world transformed. Below them stretched cities built with impossible geometry, structures that twisted toward the sky like living things, shimmering with energy fields that bent light and sound. The air itself seemed alive, pulsing with an unseen power. But it was not the cities that stopped them, it was the Guardians. The moment the team touched down in a remote valley, The ground vibrated softly, as if Earth itself was waking from a long slumber. The strike leader, Commander Varric, gestured sharply to his squad. "Stay sharp. We're deep in enemy territory." Suddenly, shadows moved at the edge of their vision, figures emerging from the trees. Not quite human, yet unmistakably so. Tall, lean forms clad in armor woven from living nanofibers, eyes glowing softly with awareness. "We are the Guardians," one spoke, voice clear and calm, amplified by a resonant hum. "You violate our world without invitation. Your presence will be met with force." Varric raised his weapon, but the Guardians did not attack. Instead, they extended their hands, and the valley shifted, the trees bending, the rocks rising, forming barriers of light and sound that isolated the strike team. "No escape," the Guardian declared. Varric called for a retreat, but the Earth's defense was swift and precise, energy tendrils, like living vines, wrapped around their ship, disabling engines and sensors. The sky lit up with bursts of controlled plasma, not to kill, but to disable. Within moments, the strike team found themselves surrounded, disarmed, and incapacitated not by brutality, but by technology and strategy far beyond their comprehension. Back in orbit, Imperial Command scrambled to understand what had gone wrong. "The strike team is compromised," Kesari reported gravely. "Earth's defenses are active and adaptive. They anticipated our tactics. On the ground, the Guardians held their captives, but they were not enemies. Instead, they offered a choice." Mera appeared before Varric, her eyes steady but compassionate. "You came seeking our secrets. Instead, you will learn our truth." Over the following days, the strike team was escorted through Earth's hidden sanctuary's vast underground networks, where technology and nature intertwined seamlessly. They saw humans and AIs working side by side, crafting innovations that balance power with harmony. Sentinel Prime's voice echoed softly. "This is the legacy of Earth's silence. A chance to grow beyond war, to defend without destruction." Varric's skepticism wavered as he witnessed healing technologies, environmental restoration projects, and defensive systems designed to protect, not to conquer. But the message was clear. Earth's fury was not born from hatred, but from necessity. It was a Guardian's fury of force that would not be provoked lightly, but would respond with overwhelming precision to any threat. Meanwhile, the Empire faced a reckoning. News of the strike team's capture spread quickly. Senators who had called for invasion began to question if the Empire was ready to face a foe so different, so resolute. High Consul Mavros called for calm. "We must reconsider our approach. Earth has shown us a power beyond our weapons. We need diplomacy backed by respect, or we risk total ruin." But in the shadows, hawks within the War Council whispered of rebellion, plotting ways to turn Earth's strength against itself. On Earth, Mera and Sentinel Prime prepared for what was to come. "Our watchers detect fleets gathering once more," Sentinel Prime warned. "The Empire will not cease." Mera nodded. "Then let them come. The Guardians are awake now, and the stars will remember their fury." The news of the strike team's capture and Earth's overwhelming defense spread like wildfire. Throughout the Empire's core worlds, hushed conversations in shadowed corridors gave way to heated debates. In the Senate chambers, the reality was clear. Earth was no longer a distant, powerless planet. It was a force reshaping the balance of power in the galaxy. High Consul Mavros convened an emergency council meeting. The massive chamber hummed with tension as senators from every sector awaited his words. "The evidence is undeniable," Mavros began, voice steady but grave. "Earth's defenses are advanced beyond any technology we have encountered. Their Guardians act with precision, efficiency, and a strategic mind that anticipates our every move. Our military has suffered a humiliating setback." Senator Tovak slammed his fist on the table. "We cannot be cowed by a single world. The Empire built its power through strength and resolve. We must double our efforts, mobilize the entire fleet, and crush Earth before their power grows." Further, Mavros shook his head. "If we rush into war, we risk annihilation. Our forces are outmatched in this theater. We must seek alternatives, diplomacy, alliances, and understanding Earth's true nature." The room erupted in debate. Some senators saw wisdom in restraint. Others believed the Empire's survival depended on overwhelming force. Meanwhile, deep within the War Council, whispers of rebellion stirred. General Kale, a fervent hawk, gathered loyal commanders around a holographic table. "High Consul's hesitation endangers us all," Kale said sharply. "Earth's silence is broken because we provoked it. If we show weakness now, the colonies will break free and our enemies will strike. A commander responded. Our strike team was captured without bloodshed. Their technology neutralizes aggression without destruction. How do we fight an enemy who doesn't play by our rules? Kel's eyes narrowed. That we change the rules. We find their vulnerabilities. We strike where they least expect. Earth's fury is dangerous, but it is also new. We will adapt faster. Back on Earth, the Council of Guardians observed these shifting currents with wary eyes. Sentinel Prime's calculations predicted increasing Imperial mobilization. Their forces were preparing for a large-scale assault, but Earth was ready. Mera addressed the Council. They see us as a threat to be eliminated, but we are protectors, not conquerors. Our strength lies in our unity and resolve. Sentinel Prime added, our surveillance has identified several Imperial vessels redirecting towards Sol System. Their intent is clear. They seek dominance or destruction. Mera's voice grew resolute. Then we must show them the true cost of invasion. The Guardians activated their planetary defenses. Satellites realigned. Energy grids surged, and Earth's automated systems prepared for war. Yet, their focus remained on defense and deterrence, not aggression. In the outer reaches of the Sol System, Imperial fleets gathered. Thousands of vessels arrayed in deadly formation. Admiral Kesari, reluctantly leading the fleet, understood the gravity of their mission. This is no simple conquest, Kesari told his officers. We face a foe unlike any before, but we are the Empire. We adapt, we endure, and we overcome. As the fleet moved closer to Earth, sensors detected an unprecedented response. Earth's satellites deployed energy shields that enveloped the planet in a radiant barrier, visible even from distant outposts. Then, the Guardians launched their countermeasures precision strikes, disabling the Empire's capital. Ships' weapons systems without destroying hulls. Drones of living nanotech swarmed Imperial vessels, infiltrating systems and rendering them inert. The battle was unlike any fought before, a dance of technology and willpower. With no clear winner in sight, inside the flagship, Kesari grappled with his orders and the reality before him. We came to conquer, he said quietly, but we must now survive. The Empire's reckoning had begun, their centuries-old dominance challenged by a single world's fury and their future uncertain. The battle for Sol space had become a war unlike any the galaxy had witnessed before. The Empire's might was vast, its fleets legendary, but Earth's fury was a tempest that neither arrogance nor firepower could contain. Admiral Kesari stood on the bridge of the flagship Imperium's Wrath, watching streams of data cascade across the holographic displays. Imperial vessels faltered as Earth's Guardians executed precise countermeasures energy fields that bent light, drones of living nanotech disabling weapons, and tactical strikes that minimized casualties but shattered systems. This isn't just defense, Kesari muttered. It's a message. Back on Earth, Mera observed the conflict from the command center beneath the planet's surface. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with determination. The Empire still clings to conquest, she said, but they do not understand what we fight for. Sentinel Prime responded. Our strategies have forced the Empire to reconsider. Their command structure is fracturing. Some factions call for ceasefire, others demand escalation. The fractures in the Empire grew more visible each day. Senator Tovek's calls for total war gained traction among the hardliners, while High Consul Mavros and others sought dialogue. Unexpectedly, cracks appeared in the Imperial ranks themselves. Several outer colonies, witnessing Earth's resilience and the Empire's losses, began questioning their allegiance. Secret messages circulated calls for peace, for negotiations, even for alliance with Earth. Admiral Kesari received one such transmission. It was from Commander Lyra Ven, leader of the Ondari Sector cluster of colonies renowned for their tactical prowess. Admiral, her message was urgent yet respectful. The Empire's path leads to ruin. Earth offers a different future, one of coexistence and strength. I propose we open channels for dialogue. Kesari pondered the risk. Could these colonies be trusted, or was this a trap designed by Earth's Guardians? Meanwhile, Earth extended a cautious hand. Through encrypted communication, Mera and Sentinel Prime initiated a dialogue with the descending colonies. They shared knowledge, resources, and visions of a future built on mutual respect rather than conquest. Together, Mera told the emissaries, we can forge a galaxy where no world lives in fear. The ripple effects were profound. In the midst of ongoing skirmishes, Unexpected ceasefires took hold in several sectors. Earth's message of unity inspired hope among populations long oppressed by imperial rule. Within the War Council, General Kale seethed. This betrayal will not stand, he vowed. We must crush these rebels and crush Earth before their influence spreads. But even some imperial commanders began to doubt the old ways. The cost of war had grown too great, the empires once unassailable. Dominance now challenged by a single planet's resolve and a coalition yearning for change. As the battle continued, Earth's guardians launched a daring maneuver. Utilizing the network of hidden stations throughout the system, they deployed a massive, coordinated strike not to annihilate, but to disable the Empire's main fleet's command nodes. The result was chaos among the Imperial vessels, confusion and hesitation. That allowed Earth's forces to seize control of strategic points. In orbit, Admiral Kesari realized the tide had turned. We are not defeated, he declared, but we must adapt or perish. He reached out once more to the colonies. Join us. Help us restore order not through fear, but through strength tempered with wisdom. As new alliances formed and old hierarchies faltered, the war evolved from conquest into a struggle for the soul of the galaxy. Earth had ignited the stars not with fire, but with a fierce, unyielding hope. The battle for the galaxy's future had reached its climax. In the cold silence of space, fleets once poised for destruction now paused, suspended between war and peace. The Empire, fractured and weary, faced a choice: cling to an empire built on fear, or embrace the uncertain promise of a new order. Admiral Kesari stood on the bridge of the battered flagship Imperium's Wrath. Around him, the remnants of imperial power awaited his command ship, scarred but not broken, crews worn but not defeated. A message flickered on the main display, an encrypted transmission from Earth's Council of Guardians. Admiral Kesari, Mira's voice echoed through. The calm and resolute. We offer an alliance, not submission. A chance to rebuild what was broken, together. Kesari studied the offer. It was not a surrender, but a hand extended in hope and mutual respect. After the devastation and the losses, it was an opportunity to forge a new path. He took a breath and spoke clearly. We accept. Let this be the first step toward lasting peace across the galaxy. Other imperial leaders hesitated, then followed. The colonies that had once whispered of rebellion now spoke openly of unity. The Empire's old guard faced the dawn of transformation on Earth. Celebrations lit the skies as guardians and citizens alike welcomed the new era. Mira addressed her people. Today, we have shown that strength is not measured by conquest, but by the courage to change. We chose defense and honor, and the galaxy has heard our voice. Sentinel Prime's voice joined her, a steady beacon of reason. Our unity is our greatest weapon. Together, we will build a future where every world thrives. The war had ignited the stars, but humanity's fury had done more than fight it. Had inspired. In the years that followed, Earth became a beacon of hope and innovation. The Guardians evolved into diplomats and protectors, guiding the galaxy toward peace and cooperation. The Empire reformed, shedding its legacy of fear to embrace a council of diverse worlds, each contributing to a shared vision. And in the vastness of space, where once only conflict had reigned, new alliances blossomed, trade flourished, cultures mingled, and the stars themselves seemed to shine brighter. Humanity had sealed its borders once to protect itself, and in doing so, it had opened a gateway to a future where all could stand together, not as enemies, but as allies under the light of a new dawn.